Your Honor, your beatitude, what do you mean when you say that we have a de facto patriarchate? And when do you expect that our patriarchal church will be crowned with the title of patriarch?
Well, it's very important to explain what do we have and what we do not have yet. So, first of all, we have all possibilities and all rights to live and act as a patriarchal church. Perhaps if tomorrow I'll receive a new title, a patriarch of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, what will change? I would answer nothing. There is small juridical procedure when a new patriarch is elected by the synod, that he doesn't need any confirmation from the Holy See. He only that he need to express his communion with the successor of Peter. Right now, major Archbishop has to be accepted by Rome, has to receive an approval from the Holy See. But in other way of acting and existing, we have the same possibilities as a patriarchal church, patriarchal structure. When I will receive this honorifical title, I will see, will try to act as a patriarchal church, which we de facto are, and maybe worldwide action of our church will demonstrate our dignity.
Your gratitude. When you say that Ukraine is a missionary field, what do you actually mean by that?
Well, thank you for this question, because normally we use the word mission if we preach gospel of Jesus Christ to somebody who never heard about it. But Ukraine is a country, is this society which has very profound Christian roots, more than millennium of Christianity in Ukraine. But unfortunately, because of different reasons, especially because of those more than 70 years of the communism in Ukraine, a large number of Ukrainians do not identify themselves with no one existing churches in Ukraine. It's our duty, it's our responsibility to preach a gospel of Jesus Christ to them. And also we have some Christians which are not practicing their faith. So it's also very important to perform so-called new evangelization, to preach a gospel to Jesus Christ to those Christians who lost their faith. So, and when we speak about the missionary territory in Ukraine, this is not a geographical territory. This is the territory of the human soul and heart.
Okay, I understand. How is the Ukrainian Catholic Church developing itself in the eastern part of Ukraine and Crimea? What obstacles do you encounter? Is the Catholic Church viewed as the enemy of the people as in previous times?
Well, thank you for that question. Because in last Synod we proclaimed that the strategic orientation or priority of the development of our church is our present and our work of evangelization in the center and the eastern Ukraine. So perhaps if anybody wants to help us, so please help us to build churches on that territory. Right now, the major problem that we encounter is difficulty to receive a land, a place where we can build our church. Right now, in many cities, we just have to perform our services in schools, in different halls, in libraries perhaps. And for people who used to pray in temples, in churches, it's not so easy to go to pray to the private apartment. And very often from the Orthodox we will hear that we are a sect, or perhaps among the common sense on that part of Ukraine, being Christians means be an Orthodox. And very often, if you are not an Orthodox, some people would be suspicious, are you a Christian? So, but those are very practical difficulties, and I think that with a good priest and good and vital, vibrant parishes, and also with the help of our brethren in the United States, we really can perform and fulfill our mission to preach Jesus Christ to those people who never know Him, especially in that part of Ukraine.
Thank you. Do you consider the number of vocations to be satisfactory in Ukraine, or do we experience a drop in vocations?
Well, this is a very good question, because I'm a former rector of the biggest and most important seminary in Ukraine, and it's why the whole issue of vocation, it's an issue of my private interest. And I would say that, thanks be to God, we do have enough vocation for the priesthood, but we are lack of our resources in order to accept all those vocations and to give for them a good formation. But what we really expect is a lack of vocation for the monastic and religious life. This year we had a special event in our church, the Patriarchal Sobor in Brazil. It's a church-wide assembly which unites bishop, priests, nuns, monks, and lay people, representative of all our eparchies throughout the world. And the central topic of this gathering was a vocation for the religious life. And we really realized that there is not enough vocation to this particular way of being Christians, and we have to encourage young generations, especially in Ukraine, to not be afraid to join their religious communities in our church.
Statistics speak of 250,000 unborn children being aborted each year in Ukraine. Many are complaining that the population of Ukraine is dwindling down, and at the same time, they conceal or ignore the fact that since the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, more than 7 million unborn children have been aborted. How is the Church trying to stop this trend?
Well, I have to make that statement that this is a shamed situation in Ukraine. We still receive that heritage from the Soviet Union, which according to the state law, it was allowed to perform such an operation. An abortion right now in Ukraine, it's a real plague of the Ukrainian society. And Catholic Church, both Byzantine and Latin Rite, we are trying to do everything that we can. First of all, we're trying to work with those who have a power to change the legislation. We work with this health care system, and perhaps because of our pressure, the bioethics as an obligatory subject was introduced into the medical schools of Ukraine. And also we work in the pastoral way with those people who are preparing themselves for the marriage and with the young couples. So we're trying to, in different levels, preach the gospel of life.
Thank you. The Ukrainian genocide of 1932-33 took the lives of 7 to 10 million Ukrainian farmers. However, the communists in Ukraine and many government officials uphold a different view or claim that we should hush down this information because of possible economic repercussions from Moscow. What is the position of the Ukrainian Catholic Church on the genocide of the Ukrainian people?
First of all, we cannot commercialize the truth. Even more, this Ukrainian genocide is a real wound of the Ukrainian soul, because this starvation hurts not only body, but even the soul. And in order to heal our memory, we have to remember, we have to speak aloud, and we have to protect new generation from the similar events in the future.
Thank you. The Catholic Church in Ukraine, the Catholic Church in the Western world makes use of specialized orders to work with their youth. How much attention does our Catholic Church in Ukraine pay to the youth? Do we have the necessary orders, like the Salesians, the Order of Don Bosco, to evangelize, activize, and organize them? Do we have chaplains in the Ukrainian armed forces?
Well, it's a good question. First of all, the good news is that we do have Ukrainian Salesians in Ukraine. And mostly they are present in Lviv, in the western part of Ukraine, but right now they move toward Kyiv, the center of our state, and also south. They already bought a land in order to build oratories, the youth pastoral centers in the big cities in Ukraine. But you know, we would never say that we have enough youth ministry in Ukraine. So it's why I, as a youngest Ukrainian bishop, I'm trying to be especially attentive and sensitive for the youth pastoral ministry. We have several youth movements in Ukraine, but I think that we have to vitalize our parishes, that in each parish we can be welcome. We can welcome Ukrainian youth and to offer to them a special pastoral attention.
Thank you. What is the meaning and role of our church in the diaspora? What kind of relationship should there exist between the mother church in Ukraine and the sister churches? How can we help the mother church, and what kind of help, if any, can we expect from her?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank our church in diaspora, especially in the United States, for the 20 years helping us rebuild the church in Ukraine. I remember when I was a seminarian in the first 90s, almost all our professors, our vice rector, came from the United States. Perhaps Father John Terlecki, he's my vice rector. I'm really proud of him. And he came from Stanford Eparchy. So I think our presence in different cultures, in different countries, is a will of God. That we not only have to conserve our tradition, not only be conservatives in the good sense of this word, but we also have to be able to well interpret our inheritance, our treasure, in order to be open to everybody who is willing to learn a little bit more about our church, or is willing to share our treasures. So our presence in different countries, I think, is a present not only for Ukrainians, but for everybody. So we want to be an open communities. And I think the most important task for the relationship between the church in Ukraine and the church in the diaspora is maintain the unity of the church. It's very important for everybody to not be closed and self-sufficient, and to be able to create the church community worldwide.
Your Beatitude, I thank you for the interview, and on behalf of our listeners, wish you immense success in your endeavors, and may your efforts to expand the patriarchal structures of our church be crowned by the missing title of Patriarch.
Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you.